What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD Mobile video. So today I am making this video to, discuss a little bit further on the patch notes and how much more seriously we actually need to take it. And not in the way that, oh, this game's gonna be, it's gonna be bad for this game, or, it's like these patch notes are gonna ruin COD Mobile for Season 8. No, this is not what I'm talking about. What I mean is, by taking it seriously is just something that I've been observing throughout the day, that like a lot of COD Mobile YouTubers and people on Twitter are not really kind of grasping the amount of, good that came out of this patch notes. Because there are a lot of positive changes that happened within these patch notes. The Groza got a good buff. The Kilo got a great buff. The Sheiccom also got a fantastic buff to fight against the USS9. They have all these different buffs, and it just feels like they're not really acknowledging it, and they're just hyper-focused on anything that involves a USS9 Nerf. And I know this because I looked at Bobby Play's video on the patch notes, and this is one of the first things I saw.
Sheiccom damage profile. 1 extra damage in the second damage phase. That's not going to do anything.
So I saw that my friend Parker actually sent this to me. Not Parker the Slayer, but just my friend Parker. He sent me this, and I'm just like, dude, this guy, really? And then on Twitter, I saw Space also comment on the patch notes as well. Does this realistically change anything? Oh my god. We need to pay attention to the patch notes. Like, really, really pay attention. And look, I'm not trying to, like, insult them at all, but I'm just, like, I want to tag them in this video just so they could at least give the patch notes another deeper look. Yes, the USS9 is getting nerfed. It's losing bullet speed, as well as losing just speed overall when it comes to that no stock. That's great. It may not be the buff that we all wanted, but then again, there's a lot of other changes that could help, fight against the USS9. Mind you, we don't have to just focus solely on that one weapon. There are other weapons in the meta that people use. The Type 19, the Odin, even the DRH. There were so many weapons in this patch notes that are able to now closely compete against all those types of weapons. Albeit, Odin might be a little debatable, but for everything else, if you... Looking at the Type 19, let's actually look at that first. So the Type 19 has been meta for a while, right? It has very good range, very fast fire rate, good bullet speed, all that good stuff. The Groza just got buffed. If we compare the stats side by side, they're virtually almost the same. The range is, I would say it's a little more superior with the Groza, but they basically have the same fire rate. Keep in mind, with the Groza, the headshot multiplier and the chest multiplier got buffed. So the head multiplier went up to 1.5, while the chest multiplier went up to 1.3. So basically, for the chest multiplier, that basically means, at least in the first range, you're going to be able to 3-shot to the chest and to the head. Also, the Type 19 does not have that ability. Also, the range for the weapon is not as good as the Groza is. Meaning that in close quarters, the Groza would technically be the superior option over the Type 19. You could argue that the bullet speed is a little better on the Type 19, but if you're fighting mostly in close range or even mid-range, you're not really going to notice it, even if it's over 1,000 meters per second. Additionally, with the Groza as well, if you do use the VDV Reinforce, you're going to be able to have a 1.1 times multiplier for the lower arms, basically making it completely consistent with 4 shots up to 36.4 meters. Basically, in my personal opinion, I think the Groza is actually going to be the more superior option. Also, for weapons like the Kilo 141 and the KN44, I think a season or two ago, they changed the KN44 so that it has a better 3-shot consistency. That's what that buff for the lower arm did. It basically made it so that you could 3-shot at a pretty long range, up to 35.1 meters. Maybe even more if you fully stack up the range. I think the build that I had for this KN44, at least for the picture of these stats, was with the monolithic suppressor and then long shot. I think that's what I had. The same could be said for the Kilo as well. I had like a heavier build on this one. It was like marksman barrels, monolithic with like the steady stock. I didn't really bother to modify. I just wanted to take a picture of the ranges. So the Kilo is about to receive a 1.2 times multiplier for the lower arm. Basically, they're basically treating it the same as the KN44, where the 3-shot consistency is further improved. 29 times 1.2 is 34.4. 34.4 times 3, 104.4. So while the 3-shot range isn't going to be as good as the KN44, given that, that weapon has far more better long range capabilities, Despite only having about 25.6 meters and a little bit more if you want to put long shot and the 100 round mag together, this is still pretty solid for even the Kilo itself. Also, another thing to keep in mind is that the Kilo does have a faster fire interval. So yes, it's going to be able to shoot a little bit faster, meaning that you could kill people a tiny bit quicker in the shorter range that it has. You might ask, why am I taking the lower arm multiplier so seriously? It's because when you get into a face-to-face gunfight, a lot of the times if you're trying to hit the chest, a lot of the times you're going to hit the lower arm. So that's why they keep buffing these lower arms, because they know that's one of the multipliers that we hit a lot. And I know this because I've been using the KN-44 basically this entire season, and I've been able to get 3-shot kills a lot better than I did before. If I couldn't hit the lower arm, or if let's say if I was hitting the upper arm, I would not be able to get 3-shot kills the way that I do. And also, another thing worth noting is that both of these weapons are hit scan. So the Kilo 141 and the KN-44 do not have any bullet speed attributes, meaning that if you're going to shoot someone directly, there's no delay. It's instant. So now let's actually move on to the biggest change of the season, which is the Sheiccom. So again, I saw Bobby Plays not really take this one seriously because he thought just the, adding 26 instead of 25 to the second range wasn't a big deal. But of course, if you look closer and you actually calculate the multipliers, it's 33.8. So basically that's just enough to make another 3-shot kill in that second range. And mind you, all of the multipliers are like on the chest, the upper arms, lower arms, stomach, they're all 1.3. So that basically means up to 24 meters, you're going to actually be able to 3-shot very easily. And again, this is a hit scan weapon. So yeah, there's no bullet speed things that you have to put on this thing to improve it. This is probably going to be the best burst SMG for a while, honestly. And I think that it could actually be part of the meta. If anything, it could probably surpass the USS9 in some regards. And I know some might argue that, it takes a tiny bit more skill to use a burst weapon, which I kind of agree. But at the same time, I mean, most ranked warriors in top 5,000, or at least that has already 10,000 points, I'm sure their aim is already on point. So I don't really think that's going to be too much of a thing. But yeah, I mean, the Sheiccom got a massive buff, and it's crazy that no one is, well, at least none of these YouTubers are actually really realizing the amount of damage this is going to do. I guess in a positive and both a negative way. Positive as, there's just another weapon that could actually compete against the USS9 that's not bullet speed related. And also it's probably bad because obviously, knowing how players are, they're going to abuse the fuck out of this one too. But yeah, much like the Jokester video, I want you guys to share this with all the YouTubers, Ferg, Bobby Plays, Aerith, you name it. Like, these patch notes are amazing, to be honest. Like, I love how many changes that they did. And not just with the weapons I just listed, but also the Type 25, all the other smaller changes. I mean, yeah, like the meta, or just, I guess, the weapon usage is going to be a little bit more diverse, whether you're playing in ranked, or if you're playing in just regular multiplayer. Also, another thing worth mentioning for the Sheiccom is that the change that it got for the multiplier, or I guess for the damage, is not a multiplayer exclusive thing, at least to my knowledge. So this might be a much better weapon in BR as well. Although I'm not too knowledgeable about, BR on, like weapons, so I feel like I don't really feel like I have a say in there, but you guys could debate it in the comments section. I'm not really too sure about that, but it looks like it could also affect BR in some ways. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD Mobile content, and I'll see you guys next time.